Hey, how's it going, guys? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Georgiman and I'm your friendly neighborhood anime and manga fan. I love all things anime and all things manga, and I'm here today with a very special video of a breakdown slash review of the new Castlevania Nocturne Season 2. It just dropped about like a week ago. I'm getting to it right now because, I was caught up and I finished it earlier in the week, but I wanted to release it, my video today just to let more breathing room and let more of you guys finish it if you guys haven't had the chance to finish the show so far. But I just wanted to talk to you guys about it, talk to you guys about the good, the bad, and the stuff that I really enjoyed about the show, and where the show is gonna go from here. Because there's a lot of setup that they build up, and I'm sure they're gonna pay it off if there's a new season. Now, before I go any further with this review, I just want to give you guys a quick reminder to make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel so you guys can be up to date with all my anime and manga, as well as all my breakdowns that I'll be doing in this channel. So if you guys could please subscribe to my YouTube channel. But yeah, with all that out of the way, let's talk about Season 2 of Castlevania Nocturne. So for starters, I will say right off the get-go, when it came down to Season 1, I was not the biggest fan. I still enjoyed it, don't get it twisted. I enjoyed the show, but I wasn't like the biggest fan, and I didn't think it lived up to the original Castlevania series, which to me is one of the greatest animated TV series of all time. It's like up there. I think it's a flawless series. But to be fair though, if I were to judge the Season 1 of Nocturne to Season 1 of Castlevania, it's not a real fair comparison, because the first season was like, it had like 4 episodes, so it's like more like an OVA, and Nocturne had 8 episodes, so it's not really a fair comparison. And especially when you think in Season 2 up all the way to Season 4, comparing that to Nocturne, it was not even close, but I still enjoyed it. I thought it was a decent like 7.5 out of 10 series, and the animation's always flawless on these in the Castlevania series, so I really enjoyed it for what it was. And walking into Season 2, we had we left off where Alucard showed up, my goat. I love my man Alucard, and that's the first key element I want to talk about. By the way, this is gonna be full spoilers, and so yeah, just beware with the full spoilers. But yeah, so I'm talking spoilers going forward, so yeah, just beware. But yeah, talking about Alucard showing up in the last episode of Season 1, I was very excited walking into Season 2 because I was like, yo, my goat is back. Alucard, daddy's home. On some Usher stuff, daddy is home, all right? And we see pretty much that Alucard is a different Alucard than when we last saw him, which obviously makes sense. I mean, it's been hundreds of years since the last time we saw him. And this Alucard in this iteration is very interesting. I think it's a very mature Alucard. It feels more like, a grandpa dealing with the teenagers when he's been, dealing with Richter and Annette and all them. Because he is, like, I mean, he's no longer the quote-unquote teenage Alucard that we saw last time around, not even teenage, but young adult. Now he's more of a, veteran, more of a elderly figure, even though he looks young, like he hasn't aged a day. He does have a new hairdo, which my man looks majestic. That's the thing with Alucard, man. I remember watching the show with my girlfriend, and she was like, he's too pretty. And I was like, he really is, but I don't mind it. No, but on some real stuff, Alucard, great to see him, and he has a lot of cool action scenes in this iteration, and that's the thing I want to continue to emphasize. The animation in this show is stellar, man. Like, when they put all their budget into those fight scenes, holy crap, man, they are better than some of the best animes out there, some of the best animated animes out there. And I know this is not technically an anime, but I'm just saying, if you were to compete, if Castlevania Nocturne were to go head to head with some of the best animated shows of last year, like something like Dan Dan Dan, I personally pick Castlevania Nocturne when it comes to just a animation action element. But continuing on, we pretty much see that this Alucard, I personally, when we left that Season 1, I thought that Alucard was just going to show up and kind of clean house, and I was very happy that he didn't. We actually saw that he was struggling not just with like the main villain Ursabet, but with Drolta herself, and that's the thing that really threw me off, because I was like, whoa, because last time he like bodied her. But we did see in this season that, Drolta got reincarnated as a night creature thanks to the abbot, reviving her and all that. And we see that she got a huge buff. Like, she's not just a vampire, she's now a night creature. And a very powerful night creature at that, because she was giving Alucard a run for his money. And even at some points, she bodied him. Now, you can make the argument, oh, maybe he got caught off guard, he underestimated her. Sure, but Drolta was hanging in there with Alucard. And arguably, Alucard is the... besides Ursabet, which I will get to that, because I think there's a little flimsy area there when it comes to power scaling wise. Alucard's up there, man, with like top of the the line strongest vampires in the verse, if not the strongest currently. At least at the end of the show, I personally would think so. But we see pretty much, like I said, Drolta. That's another character I want to get into. They really built her up. I personally didn't think she was coming back. I thought she was just dead, and I liked her in season 1, and I actually really enjoyed what they did in season 2, where they added more character to her. We find out her backstory, and you see the relationship between herself and Ursabet, and how that came to be, and why she's so loyal to Ursabet, because she thinks that that's Sekhmet, because she was able to survive at the trial, and why not. And it was very good stuff, all the stuff. And I do like towards, later in the show, towards the ending, how, Drolta really, dispatches Ursabet. Like, she doesn't really care for her because she thought he was just Sekhmet. And the second she finds out she's not Sekhmet, she's like, oh, you're just like a pawn. Give me my power back. And I guess this is the thing that is noteworthy to talk about right now. So I've seen many people, like, videos, posts, whatever, discussing who is stronger, Ursabet, as we saw, like, who's the strongest living vampire ever? Is it Dracula or is it Ursabet now? And here is my counterpoint to what like I said, I'm not a power scaler, but this is my argument and many people's argument with the whole Ursabet, stronger than Dracula thing. Guys, you guys got to remember, Dracula was starving himself when we saw him in Castlevania, the original series. For those first 2 seasons, my man was nerfed, like heavily nerfed. And not just that, he was just a vampire. Ursabet literally has the powers of a goddess. So I would not compare. That's like comparing, like, somebody like Ichigo, like a Soul Reaper versus, like, I don't know, Yusuke from Yu Yu Hakusho. Like, this is 2 different kind of things. Like, I personally wouldn't compare them power wise. So like I said, Ichigo versus, like, Goku. Like, what? That's different kind of power systems and all that. So, but in all seriousness, yeah, I want to put it out there. Dracula, like, that dude was strong. And not just that, remember, guys, Dracula was, like, bodying Alucard and the rest of the crew. And I'm not saying that Ursabet didn't. And I would also go ahead and say that if the crew that fought Ursabet, which is Maria, Annette, Alucard, Juiced, and Richter, if all of them teamed up against the weakened Dracula, I think they would have beaten him for sure. Yeah, 100%. I mean, but at the same time, he was a starving Dracula. A Dracula that, was not at his prime. A Dracula that was very weak. And yeah, that's so I just wanted to talk about that. And, also, I just got to say it, Ursabet in her human form, boy, was she something. She was special. That Vince McMahon meme that she was special. No, but Ursabet as a human, boy, that caught me off guard. I was like, yo, why is she so hot? What happened, bro? Like, the hairdo, the hair down, boy. Them Castlevania people, they know how to make, some fine ladies. Talking about fine ladies, let's talk about Tara, Maria's mom. I like this section of the story where it was, Tara, Maria, and the abbot, and just everything revolving around them. And, I think Maria, for me, was the breakout of this season, where personally, in season 1, I was just like, she's the little sister. I don't really care. She's kind of whatever. This season, I was like, yo, she's having a full-on breakdown. And I'm loving this. This is great. When she summons Maharag, just kidding. When she summons this dragon, similar to, like, JJK, she was giving me, like, Megumi vibes when he summons the Maharag, like, sacred treasures. And I was like, oh my gosh, she summoned this strong dragon. And this dragon was, like, sick, bro. The dragon was giving it to Ursabet, bro. I was like, yo, Maria, chill, bro. Bro, Maria kept aura forming through this entire season, bro. Like, there was so many moments where you just see her, like, eyes all black, her pupils all black, the shading all around her face. I was like, yo, this animation is going too hard, man. Like, this is peak, like, animation. This is fire, bro. And I like her, arc with Tara, where, she, Tara's like, what makes a monster, and all that. Eventually she's able to, because Tara keeps trying to make Maria master her power, and then eventually Juice is like, don't do that, because you're going to be corrupted and all that. And Tara, man, listen, Tara was already hot in season 1, but holy crap, man. I don't know, vampifying people, she got a little, more, sexy, to say the least. Tara, man, she, people keep making all those memes about Marvel Rivals, with Invisible Woman. I was like, no, give me the Tara build, bro. Like, Tara, people be sleeping on Tara, not me. I know, I see a hot, bodacious woman, I'm gonna point it out, and Tara is exactly that. No, but they also build, like, in a serious note, they also build up something interesting with her at the end of the season, where she, after everything gets resolved, she's kind of staring off, looking at Maria, and I'm wondering if she's just gonna like, let her, because she did say that she wanted Maria to be on her own and grow as a character, and I'm wondering now if she's really gonna do that, or she's plotting something, because when the abbot died, she was smiling, and you're like, what? I thought you didn't want the abbot to die. And not just that, there's like this figure, like the Green Reaper or the Coyote or whatever Old Rocks calls it, like this spirit, like this menacing figure, like covered in like smoke and all that, that had been present throughout the entirety of this season, how he's behind her at the end of the season. So I'm wondering, this is definitely a setup for the third season, if there is a third season, which, to emphasize, if you guys want to get that third season, watch the show, because that's what the creators themselves have said. So, but yeah, I thought that the Abbott, Maria, Tara, I thought I was very intrigued and very 100% invested in that. And talking about being 100% invested and actually being thoroughly surprised about how much I enjoyed their character in this season was Juiced, Richter's grandfather. I thought Juice was a very fun character in the first season. I was like, oh, he's the old geezer, the old master, but he's so super strong. And in this season, they gave him a buff, man. Like, he's able to wield magic. And not just that, they actually gave him a character arc where he wants to actually no longer be a deadbeat because he regrets being a deadbeat, because that's how Richter's mom died. But we also see that he's, wants to take a parental figure, kind of like a sensei slash, like I said, parental figure for Maria. And I'm very, it was very wholesome, very happy that, he was able to be there to calm her down and eventually help her master her power. That's why she was able to summon the dragon without being corrupted. And like I said, Juice in the final fight scene where Elizabeth and all that, crazy, great. So I really like Juice's character in this season. And talking about characters that I like, let's talk about some characters I did not like their character arc this season in particular. I enjoy their characters, but I think that they kind of got underutilized this season, to say the least. And those two would be Eduardo and Old Rocks. I think Eduardo himself had much more to work with in season 1. I think it was much more complex and much better written. I don't think his character is like horrible or trash or anything. I just think that he was better written in season 1 than he was in this season, because I felt like in this season he was more, how can I put this? Pretty straightforward. I think his writing was very straightforward in this season than it was in the first season. So I was a little disappointed in that. I still enjoyed his climax and his character arc and all that in this season, but I will say that it was very lacking in my opinion compared to in season 1. And same thing with Old Rocks. Old Rocks barely gets anything to work with in this season besides just being like the plotter and the schemer, which I was very disappointed. I wanted to see more Old Rocks because I was actually very invested in him in the first season, especially him and Richter and their beef. And they're definitely teasing that they will fight again. I mean, there's a point where Richter even says like, Old Rocks, I'll kill you, but not today, some other time. And I'm like, oh man, they better make that third season, otherwise this will not age well. And yeah, that's with Old Rocks. Like I said, I think he was very underutilized this season, but hey, to be fair though, Elizabeth was the main threat, Drolta was the main threat, and he did help out towards the end. I mean, he was fighting Drolta for a bit. So yeah, Old Rocks, I like his character, and I'm very excited and very curious to see how his character goes on going forward, especially with the monk, how he turns him into a vampire. So I can't wait to see how that dynamic evolves in the next season. Like I said, if there's a next one, which you guys definitely check out the show so that we can get a next season, and then moving on from there, another character, I was very conflicted at the beginning, but I think towards the end, I think they wrapped it up nicely, was Annette. In the first season, I thought she was all right. Whatever. I thought she was just a, fine character. But I think this season, a lot of the time when there was the spirit world kind of aspect of it, I was kind of like, I wouldn't say bored, but I was just like, all right, man, get to it. But I will say the payoff to that was actually really good, and I really enjoyed it. And I think Annette's character is great. I actually enjoyed it. And in season 1, I actually enjoyed her backstory a lot. And like I said, I liked her character. She wasn't one of my favorites or anything, but I did enjoy her character. And I think this season, as much as at the beginning it felt kind of slow with her character, towards the end I did enjoy like the payoff. And I mean, she ends up with Richter, man, so she must be doing something right, because Richter's a beautiful man and I'm a straight guy. So if I can point it out, that goes to show how good looking Richter is. So she was able to wife him up, and it's great. So, and for anybody that was like surprised about that, I was like, what do you expect? They were like hinting at this since like season 1. So yeah, they ended, and they're cute, whatever, I don't mind. So, good for her, wifing up, Richter. And pretty much going forward from that, like I said, the action was great, and that's what another thing I want to talk about. Like the action in this season, phenomenal. Like the action sequence towards the end, especially like once they start fighting Drolta and Ursabet at the end, where Alucard, like the rest of the crew are fighting, I was like, yo, this is like peak, bro. Like you see everybody doing the combos. Richter's like using his magic and his fire and his eyes simultaneously. Alucard's going like throwing fireballs like his father. I was like, yo, this is awesome. Like I'm enjoying this very thoroughly. And like, I think people sleep on when Castlevania brings the heat. It brings the heat, man. Like, oh my god, there was a lot of cool moments, and I think like overall the season looked beautiful. Like I think like the way the art design that they went with, the character designs for the new revamped Alucard design, I think is superb. I think it looks awesome, bro. Like he just has that aura, and that's the thing with Castlevania, man. Some characters just have instant aura. Like Ursabet, aura, bro. Especially towards in the final season, not the final season, the final episode of season 1, when she makes everybody just freeze. Aura, man. In this episode, and then this season, where in the final fights, yeah, she also has that, and I was like, yo, this is insane. But yeah, I think that the fight scenes were, not much to say other than they're spectacular, and definitely worth checking the season just for themselves. Like it's worth watching season 2 just for that alone. It still has a good story. I personally don't think this season is. I would put this season. How about this? I would put this season a little bit below the original Castlevania. There wouldn't be a big margin gap like I said with the Nocturne versus the original series, but I think it's still really solid. I think it's worthy of the title of Castlevania from the original series, and I think that this season was really, really good. I really, really enjoyed it, and I'm very excited to see where the story goes from here. And one thing I wanted to talk about before I end this video was that the crew that defeats Ursabet. I saw so many memes about this online, and I couldn't help but to bring it up in this review as well, which was that they're pretty much just the Power Rangers, which is hilarious, man. Like, am I wondering, did they do this purposely? Because it's so perfect, man. You have the black, the pink, the yellow, the red, and the blue. Like, it was just all the colors of the Power Rangers, bro. It's like, wow, this is hilarious. But yeah, overall, I really enjoyed this season. I thought it was fantastic, and I'm very excited to see pretty much where it goes from here, and especially the way that it ends, because everybody kind of like split up. So I'm wondering if the next season, are they gonna like? They're obviously all gonna team up. Is it gonna be similar to like when Alucard, Sypha, and Trevor, where they all split up, and then eventually towards the climax of the season they reunited to fight the common enemy? That'll be very intriguing, and I'll be very interested to see that. But yeah, overall, like I said, Castlevania Nocturne Season 2 was, for me, a massive hit. I think it was a great upgrade from the original Season 1. I thought it was most of the stuff that people had complained about, like pacing, some character writing, some major complaints like that. I think people definitely will be much more, what's the word I'm looking for? They'll be much more lenient this time around, and they'll be much more appreciative of the season as a whole, because I think that the season absolutely killed it. I think they did a great job, and I'm just, like I said, I'm hoping for a season 3, because I want to see Olrox be taken down by Richter, because they like I said, they definitely hinted at it at the end of the season. And one last thing to note, it was very curious, because I'm not a big Castlevania gamer, I don't know any of the lore, I just seen the shows, is that Alucard says, like, thank you for saving me again to Olrox. So I think that has to be also addressed in a new season, or explain what exactly he means by that, because I think that was a gimme, like give me that. I want to see that. But yeah, with all that being said, I cannot recommend this season enough. I think it was great, and definitely worth checking out if you're a fan of Castlevania. And if you didn't like the Nocturne Season 1, I think you'll like this season for sure. But yeah, with all that being said, what did you guys think about this season? Did you guys love it? Did you guys hate it? Did you guys thought it was alright? Whatever you guys thought, let me know in the comment section down below. Also, thank you so much for sticking all the way to the end of the video. I really appreciate it. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel for more anime and manga content, as well as full series reviews. But yeah, with all that being said, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Bye bye.